Is air traffic control, the aviation system, ready for Memorial Day weekend and this surge of people this summer?
Well, listen, you've seen what's happened in Newark. We're seeing a few cracks or age in the system, right? We're seeing some of that, but yeah, listen, it's ready. I think we all have to be really patient, though, as we go through airports, and if you have that delay, I mean, don't be a jerk. Let's all get along. Let's all be nice.
Yeah, but I think people worry that they've heard about what's happened at Newark. There's been an incident in Colorado where there was a blip. These are all short-lived, but you know, folks start worrying, is this going to happen when I go to my flight in fill-in-the-blank city?
Yeah, so listen, we've been having the blips for some time, right? After DCA and after Newark, it gets a lot more attention, so people think it's happening a lot more. But the key is, it is showing its age. Let's make sure we build an air traffic control system that is going to be ready for the next generation of flyers and all the complication that's going to come into the airspace with drones and eVTOLs, which are those Ubers in the air. It's going to get a lot busier. So let's build this new system so we don't have to deal with this system that's 25 and 35 years old.
And until that system's there, I think my concern when people ask about the summer, is this going to be the summer of the epic flight delay? We can make it safe, but if you sacrifice efficiency for safety, it makes a frustrating experience for flyers.
Well, so I think what we have to look at is we have redundancies in the system, right? So if the main line goes down for telecommunication, there's a redundant line. And then there's another redundant line on that. So the system is safe. The concern, though, is we're 3,000 air traffic controllers short. It's been like that for a while. We have to get more air traffic controllers on the job, and so if we're short-staffed with air traffic controllers, we slow the air traffic down, which means then you're delayed. So it's not necessarily that we have a telecom issue like you see in Newark. We don't have enough air traffic controllers working the airspace, which means it gets slower, you get delayed, and then you get frustrated.
Right. Can we zero down on Newark just
Sure.
a little bit? Is the fix there really that basically somebody needs to pull fiber optic cable from New York to Philadelphia to fix that problem?
So actually, Verizon has been a great partner. They are laying fiber. They are putting fiber in the ground, and it's actually going to go from Philly to New York, and then New York to Newark. So it's happening now. It's going to be done in short order. Now it has to be tested, right? We want to test the lines and make sure there's no issues within the telecom.
When do you see, you've capped flights at Newark, and that should help reduce the congestion, and the runway opens up soon. How long until we start to see some of the improvements purely on the air traffic control side? You know, the staffing is acute because you have people on leave, but also this fiber line. When does it start to get better?
So what's key with Newark is that there was frustration because you'd book a flight and then you'd be 5 hours delayed. So because we reduced the capacity and the airlines have all cooperated with us on that, if you book your flight, you're going to fly, right? That's what we wanted to have happen, and it's been reduced about 50%. In the middle of June, I think we're going to get to 60% capacity of Newark, and so. But with air traffic controllers, again, it's going to take time. We have to train them up. But I think what's key is we've offered a bonus to air traffic controllers who are eligible to retire. We're going to pay them 20% bonus on their salary to stay longer, don't retire. And so as we bring more air traffic controllers in and keep the older experienced controllers, we're going to be able to make up that difference. But it does take time. It's going to take us months, if not years, to make up the difference.
And with Newark specifically, you've got those controllers who took trauma leave.
Right.
Do you expect them to be back on the job sometime this summer?
Yeah, I think they'll come back, and we're training up new people inside that facility as well. So again, we're going to bring more people into the facility. You asked me about the telecom line.
Yeah.
I think I don't want to overpromise and underdeliver, but I think the telecom portion should be laid by the end of this month. Now it might take us another month to test it. So I think telecom is going to be resolved by the end of June for Newark. And then the runway that is under construction right now is supposed to be completed by the middle of June. They're doing, amazing work. They're going day and night. They're working 7 days a week.
Is the telecom situation in Newark unique to Newark because it was sort of moved and the work was in progress when folks moved in, or is that kind of problem something that could happen in Chicago or Denver or Phoenix?
Great question. So you mentioned that we get some telecom blips where the main line might go down, we'll kick to the redundant line. Newark was different. So actually both lines went down. There was a glitch in our computer system that overloaded the backup line, and it happened twice. We overloaded it. That glitch has been fixed, but it's also called into question, why did they move it and why didn't they harden those lines? And so we've said we're going to clear the deck and we're going to ask Verizon to put that fiber in and make sure this is secure and safe and reliable.
I don't know if you saw the video we obtained, but that took us inside that center for the May 9th outage, where you see these screens go dark.
Yeah.
And it really did give you a sense for why that could be so upsetting to a controller. Like all of a sudden, whatever you're trying to monitor is just gone.
Yeah, no, it's upsetting, and I'll tell you also, 9/11 was upsetting for controllers as well. I mean, it's a stressful job, right? But they're trained to deal with those experiences. And again, I don't want those to happen, but if they do happen, they're trained to figure out how do I communicate with air traffic controllers to airplanes. Those redundancies kick in. The pilots, when that happens, they know that they have to look to another center or TRACON or tower to communicate with, and they also have to pay close attention and stay away from each other. And so that's what happened in this situation. And again, it was 30 seconds on telecom, and because the scope or the radar had to reboot, that added another minute onto the time frame. But again, that's way too long. We can't have this happen. And what frustrates me is this was foreseeable. Government watchdog groups have warned that this was going to happen, and they said, fix the system. And no one did anything. And so they passed it off to us. I'm happy to take the challenge. But in the interim, as we fix this system, we're going to have some issues to deal with. But again, I fly out of Newark. I'm flying out of Newark on Tuesday. I've been flying out of Newark for the last 3 years. So I have faith in that system. I have faith in air travel. America should too. But I think if you're an American and you're seeing the cracks that I'm now seeing, you'd be angry to go, I thought my government takes care of me. I thought the government sees these problems, and without me even knowing, they fix them. And they didn't fix them. And so now it's going to take us some time, whether it's the air traffic controller piece or it's the air traffic control system piece. It takes us time to fix it, and I'm going to ask for patience as we get the resources and we do the big build.
You know, you touched on something there. I think we had been in such a long period of safety where there hadn't been notable accidents, 16 years, that you had 2 in short order, and then Newark, a plane crash in a community in San Diego today. It has rattled people's confidence in the safety of this system.
Some of these incidents have been happening over the course of the last several years. It's just that we're paying closer attention because of DCA. It was the biggest incident in 16 years, and because of what's happened in Newark, you're paying attention. And by the way, I'm grateful you're paying attention, because America's attention on this issue focuses the Congress, focuses the resources to give us the money to actually do the work to make sure the airspace is really efficient and even safer.
In the budget that just passed the House, $12.5 billion for FAA modernization.
Not enough.
Not enough.
It's a good start, but it's not enough.
How much do you need?
I need tens of billions. America has waited too long, and so for me to do it right and do it fast, I need the money up front, and I also need the permitting process to be cleared. Right? If we're waiting years for permits and not putting fiber in the ground, America is not going to be happy. So if they do those two things for us, we're going to get engagement from all of the providers, all of the CEOs, and they're going to, I think, rally, and we're going to get this done. I think a lot of it can be done in 3 years, at max 4 years to full completion.
Do you really think so? Because you try to renovate a bathroom in your house, and that isn't done anywhere near on time or on budget. You're talking about basically changing the engines on an airplane while you're flying it, coast to coast, and doing it in 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. I mean, these contracts sometimes that the FAA was signing under the last administration, they had a 15-year contract to fix the telecom issue. It's an issue right now. Why is there a 15-year contract to fix this? We're like, we don't have 15 years, we don't have 5 years. We have to do it now.
Is there, I mean, whether it's Newark or DCA, one of the things that's come out there is that you after something has happened, you've had people say, well, we were warning there were too many flights there. Mm-hmm. Did we overtax the airspace at a time when things were getting too old, and that is part of why all these cracks sort of showed up at once?
Well, I think in DCA, that was a foreseeable problem, right? There were 85 near misses in 3 years. right? So I think someone should have seen that and stopped the cross traffic. We've stopped that between helicopters and fixed wing aircraft. But it's my job then to see if someone didn't see that at DCA, what am I not seeing? And so when Newark happened, we came out with our plan a week later, but I didn't start the plan when Newark happened. I've been working on that plan for the last 6 weeks before we announced it. So I knew this was a problem, and we've taken it on to develop the plan to fix it. And so I'm trying to see over the horizon on what issues exist and try to fix them before they become an issue, which is why also we deployed AI to look at other airspaces that might be like DCA to say, are there other problems like this that we're not seeing? And if so, what do we have to do to fix them to keep people safe?
How big of a test is this summer, which could be a record again, for the air system and air traffic control?
So we are going to have, I think, historic flights, the biggest summer that we've had in American history. It's going to stress the system. And do I think it's going to be safe? Of course. We're going to get Newark fixed. But are you going to see some disruption in regard to delays? Yeah, you're going to see delays. Is it safe? Yes. I do think we have to have some patience if we have the delays, and then give us some grace to fix what was left to us. And by the way, we're going to do it. And so as we go from month to month to year, it's progressively going to get better as we deploy the new technology into the different airspaces throughout the country.